Good evening. Welcome to Called Into Questions, the only show where friends ask hard questions during a very hard time. My name is Chris, and this is episode 2, and I am lucky to be joined today by my good friend Andy. Andy, would you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Andrew Simmons. Formerly, Chris used to have my job as trivia master at a couple of places in Columbia, South Carolina, before I moved to Atlanta.
Before I usurped his throne, yes.
You have the Auburn scepter these days.
Andy, born and bred here in the Midlands of Columbia, South Carolina, as his accent will tell you. Used to live here and ran a couple of trivia gigs here. I became fast friends with him, and then he has left the city of dreams, Columbia, to the city of peaches, Atlanta, and we are very glad that a very good trivia person himself. I am very excited to have you on today's game, and
Cool. Glad to be here. Looking forward to it, Chris.
it was I was after all my files, my right questions for my two trivia gigs, they're always numbered by the week that it has been. And the last week we had before the hiatus we currently are all in, it was 80. We had been 80 weeks of trivia since you've moved to Atlanta, and I have had that number of gigs times two here in Columbia, which is
a lot of questions.
a lot of questions. I have
3 years writing three unique sets of questions a week.
oh yeah, and it's been so crazy that it was been like a year and a half now that since you have been in Atlanta, and so it's you are having a fine time with all of your family, and I hope that you and your family are getting along splendidly together in the same house.
It's been a challenge being under the same roof for 24 hours a day, pretty much. But
sure.
With no died yet.
That'll do it. And but no, it is certainly exciting that you are here. And so for all of you playing along today, the way this game works is we have written 15 questions for each other. There are 3 rounds. The first round's a nice medium set of questions. The second round's a nice hard set. And round 3 is everyone have fun with it. I like to think the 3 rounds is like shooting a free throw, a 3-pointer, and then a half-court shot. Where the last round, it's like, if it goes in, that's fantastic. But there's almost no expectation to do it. We have each chosen a special subject tonight. For last week, I chose state capitals, and this week, because dear Andy is an Englishman posing in America, I have chosen. He has 3 questions about English poetry for tonight's set, which I'm very excited about. And Andy, if you will tell the people your subject.
Well, I figured since, I'm born and raised in England, we've just got out of the European Union through Brexit, for better or worse, who knows. But I figured what better subject to have than the European Union.
European Union. I did not write this question, but I did think it'd be funny if you could tell me what either Article 49 or Article 51 is about in any description. That would be exceptional EU knowledge, but I did not write that question.
Thank goodness, because
the one in the middle was the one more famous. But yes, do you know one up or one down from that? And that would have been a very fun set. But no, I look forward to the European Union, a very large coalition, and lots of things held within. So I look forward to that coming out. Well, that being said, if you want to play at home, we will have a final score, but it will not be against each other. You can just find out whether or not your score is higher than either of ours. And hopefully, like I say, if you know your stuff, congratulations. But this is all for fun, for free. We're really looking forward to it. We're just basically playing as friends playing, catch up on Zoom and asking trivia along the way. And that's what life's all really about. So thank you all for being here. And let us go ahead and get this game started. Andy, here are your first 5 questions tonight, and I'm going to read them all out. And after I've read them all out, you can pause, and after a little bit of think time, you can play again, and we'll start going over the answers to that first round. So here we go. Our first 5 questions tonight. For your round number 1, what 1968 musical had its Los Angeles production premiere at the Aquarius Theater? Number 2, the Chijima incident refers to an incident in 1944 where Japanese soldiers killed and consumed several American Navy airmen. with only a 20-year-old pilot able to get away, who later became which U.S. president? Number 3, the village of Menemsha on Martha's Vineyard served as the filming background portraying what fictional town? Number 4, the main attraction in the town of Walnut Grove, Minnesota, is a museum dedicated to what author who lived in the town from 1874 to 1876? And number 5, the largest city and capital of the province of Limburg. What Dutch city is home to the annual European Model United Nations, an annual international conference held yearly? And I will say that, fun fact, this year's conference has been canceled due to reasons beyond everyone's control. That is what the internet taught me this week. So those are the first 5 questions. Your theme, I'm going to take a quick pause. And let us get back to starting round 1. So here we go, Andy. Number 1, what 1968 musical had its Los Angeles production premiere at the Aquarius Theater? That is number 1. So you can now talk it out and give your answer.
Well, 1968, that speaks to me of sort of Summer of Love almost. And, the Aquarius Theater, LA, California. Just 2 that are really sort of, I'm not sure one was really a musical, but and I've written the Aquarium Theater, which is might be amusing to me. But the Aquarius Theater, it stands to reason that it has to be something along the lines of, and I think this is what I'm going to go with, the musical Hair.
And Hair is the musical. It is unclear to me from my research. I think it was the Aquarius Theater and then Hair became a musical within it. I'm not sure the musical, like, it almost seems too good for it to be real. Like, I want to say, like, they named it after the show. But I think
that's the reason. I think it's just too much of a nice coincidence and wrap it up with a bow for it to be anything else.
Exactly. But Hair, in fact, is right. It was 1 year before Woodstock, which I didn't ever really realize the timeline on that. Like, it came before it, not after.
Yeah.
Very well. First one's right. Number 2 was the Shijima incident. Refers to an incident in 1944 where Japanese soldiers killed and consumed several American Navy airmen, with only a 20-year-old pilot able to get away, who later became which U.S. president?
Well, U.S. presidents is not really my strong suit. I've written a lot of U.S. president questions, though. And I do happen to know some of whom who served in the Navy. And so you've given me that he was 20 years old in 1944. My gut instinct wants to go JFK.
For PT 109, it is, in fact, not John F. Kennedy. He was in the Navy, but he was not an airman. He did other things in the Navy, but he did not fly the airplanes. This man did fly airplanes, if that helps with coming up with a new answer.
Not really, no.
I will say he has, this man recently passed away, if that helps.
Oh, old Bush Sr.
That's right. It was George H.W. Bush. He was a pilot, and this is a very strange incident of as far as it was just like his platoon, whatever group crashed, and some Japanese soldiers out of desperation or war like killed and ate some of his crewmen, but George H.W. Bush was able to get away, and so he escaped cannibalism, and that is
that's amazing generation right there.
It was absolutely, it was a great generation, truly, and it was a fun question. I asked this question at Bulldog originally. It was the anniversary of the Donner Party, and we had 5 questions all about cannibalism.
Nice.
People, I called it finger licking good. it was all, we had all kinds of like funny puns on everything here. We found out who was a snack with another pun, a dumb pun we had, and it was but no, yeah, George H.W. Bush survived cannibalism in World War II.
Well, that's probably a fact I won't forget in a hurry.
Oh, yeah, it's like that seems like a thing more people should know about. That seems like significant that should be more as a fun talking point. There you go, George H.W. Bush there. Number 3 was the village of Menemsha on Martha's Vineyard served as the filming background that portrayed what fictional town?
This is not a part of the world I'm familiar with. Are you at liberty to say whether this is television or movies?
This is a film question here.
A film question, okay. Well, the big thing that I can think that was filmed up that way, would this film have come out possibly around 1975?
Very, very around that neck of the woods, yes.
And it sort of ties in, I mean, there's teeth involved, I think, as well.
Teeth are
a nice segue from the previous question, Chris. But different type of teeth. That would be Amity Beach.
Right. Amity Island, the name of the town, but the fictional.
I almost said Amityville, which is also, I think,
another location. Yes, but Amity Island.
Well, let's go with Amity Island.
Yeah. Amity Island is right. That is the town, the setting of the 1, 2, and I think 4 of the Jaws movies. The third one set at a SeaWorld location. Amity's been getting a lot of attention in like memes recently because the mayor of Amity famously is like, we're keeping the beaches open, we're not closing down because of bad things, and people are making fun of, let's say, executive decisions that have been going around state and federal governments about keeping things open and whether we should close them. So the mayor of Amity has really been making the laps online. I thought that would be a very funny question to ask there. But no, Amity Island and Martha's Vineyard. I think some of it is filmed on some Universal backlots, but you can really tell. Like,
it is. They got to see some of it out in California last year.
That's exciting. It was what was it? I remember watching when Ready Player One came out. Steven Spielberg did like a little tour of some of the backlots on a golf cart, and he drove around. You saw like, you know, the Jaws town and like
the Psycho house and everything. That was just
right. Wow, that is wild. That's just it's like a large museum of film is all hanging out next to each other.
Yeah.
Amity Island is right. Very well done. Teeth and all. Number 4 is the main attraction in the town of Walnut Grove, Minnesota, is a museum dedicated to what author who lived in the town from 1874 to 1876?
I've been to Minnesota. I'm not familiar with Walnut Grove. I actually took a long road trip from Columbia, South Carolina to Minneapolis. Long drive. Don't recommend it. 1874 to 76. For a minute there, Minnesota's small towns have some amazing, if I may have a little segue here, have some amazing attractions. And for a minute, I thought, before you threw in the author, and I can't remember the name of the town, but I've passed this on the highway. It's because the Hormel factory, the main Hormel factory, is just outside Rochester, Minnesota.
Okay.
And the BAM Museum is also in Minnesota, which is on my list of things to visit eventually. But anyway, I thought that might be where you were going with Minnesota museums and Walnut Grove.
No, unfortunately, it's not Hormel.
Yeah, unfortunately not, because I know that.
No, yeah.
I am not familiar. It could be that this author was not a native Minnesotan, having only resided there for 2 years in the latter part of the 19th century. I am really drawing a bit of a blank on this one, but I am going to, the name that keeps popping back into my head for whatever reason, and I don't think it's right, but it'll be entertaining anyway, is Laura Ingalls Wilder.
So, Walnut Grove, Minnesota is the town in question here. Walnut Grove, Minnesota. This author only lived in the town for a couple of years when they were young. And Walnut Grove, Minnesota is known to many people because Michael Landon lived there as Pa in the TV show Little House on the Prairie. And that is where the show is set, is in the town of Walnut Grove. And you are in fact correct. Laura Ingalls Wilder is the
Double upon that. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
It is the title little town on the prairie, Walnut Grove, Minnesota. And so an extremely fantastic guest for you went from 0 to getting it right. And that is that is.
Oh, that was just it may be that Walnut Grove is somewhere in my latent back part of my memory somewhere, and I may have read it a long, long time ago. And if I'd read it as a result of that, then that's a fact that I had forgotten.
That is fantastic that you pulled that one. I mean, truly. And I think most people, if you ask them where is that show set, I feel people would be like Nebraska, Iowa, more central United States answers. But no, it's like southern Minnesota or so, I think where the map is. No, Laura Ingalls Wilder, she was just Laura Ingalls at that point. But no, extremely well done. That is fantastic.
Can we stop now? Because it's probably not going to get much.
You need to keep that energy and keep riding the wave. That is.
Ride the lightning. There we go.
Absolutely. That is well done on that. Let's see. And the last question was our EU question: was the largest city and capital of the province of Limburg? What Dutch city is home to the annual European Model United Nations, which is an annual international conference held in the city each year?
This is one. I used to run tours all over Western Europe, and I didn't do much in the Netherlands. I've drunk a lot of Dutch beer. I've been to Amsterdam. That's really about it. I'm familiar with Limburg from a cheese perspective. I am not sure about the Model EU, but once again, there's a town in the Netherlands that is famous from a European Union perspective for being where a treaty was signed back in the late 80s, early 90s. And that city is Maastricht.
And that's your guess?
My guess.
And Maastricht is the correct city. That is exactly right. For the exact reasons you said, it was the treaty of where the coal and steel community turned into the European Union was the Treaty of Maastricht, and that is I did not know it was the capital of the Limburg province.
I didn't know it was the capital of the province of Limburg, but I've actually driven through Maastricht a long, long time ago, and it's pretty unimpressive.
Oh, really? That's disappointing.
There's not much to see, at least not that I see.
I guess when Amsterdam,
apologies to anybody from Maastricht.
Exactly. I guess Amsterdam steals every spotlight in terms of what that country is offering. It's hard to.
Yeah, unless going back to my O-level GCSE geography studies, Amsterdam and Rotterdam, biggest port in Europe. That's really the next thing you should know about the Netherlands. Other than that, had one of the best breakfasts I ever had in the Netherlands at the Heineken brewery. Beer and cheese and sausage.
It's a good way to start your day.
Way to start, but I don't really have too many things to say about Maastricht, but apparently it's more on that.
Yeah, it is known for what it is known for, and it is today still home to the European Union. Every now and then they still have things going on.
But not this
year. Yeah. So they still show their original hometown pride. So, but very well done. You start out our game today with, I believe, 4 all the way there. So that is excellent.
Like that.
So very well done. All right. So now the tables are turned, and let us see how.
Indeed they are, Mr. King. Indeed they are. I'm going to start out with your poetry question.
All right. Here we go.
Right out into English poetry. In 1819, poet John Keats composed the first of his first 6 odes, one of which was an ode to a bird. What type of bird did he immortalize in this 1819 ode? Question 2. The song Respect made famous in 1967 by Aretha Franklin, was written and originally recorded 2 years earlier in 1965 by what Georgia-born Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee? Question 3. In the 1953 painting Golconda by Belgian surrealist René Magritte, it depicts multiple images of what exactly falling from the sky? Question 4. What Midwestern US state is the setting for the 1957 musical The Music Man? And question 5. What is the only current NFL franchise to have never appeared in a conference championship game?
All right. Solid. All right. So those are the first 5 questions. And so we'll take them from the top again. So starting out with number 1, you will read it out again.
So question 1 is our poetry question for you, Chris. In 1819, poet John Keats composed his first 6 odes, one of which was an ode to a bird. What type of bird did he immortalize in this 1819 ode?
Okay. I don't know why I'm slightly struggling with this. He is known for certainly his I think his 1819 odes. The most famous of them is about an urn that's Greek, and he wrote about melancholy and autumn, and there's a few more after that. And I don't know why I'm flip-flopping, because there's Ode to a Nightingale and there's To a Skylark, and I swear one of those is right. I'm afraid they're both. I think one of them's not Keats, and I'm trying to remember exactly which one's not right.
This is the exact conundrum I hoped you'd have.
Yeah. The Skylark is the blithe spirit. I swear it's Ode to a Nightingale. I swear it's Ode to a Nightingale. I'm trying to convince myself that's right, because the poem To a Skylark is called To a. I swear To a Skylark's by a different poet. I think yep. Gotta have a Keats question on English poetry set. Why wouldn't you? You can't not have Keats.
No.
I am going to say Ode to a Night. I say Nightingale is the bird here. That's my guess.
You guessed correctly.
Ooh, that is.
Yeah. First 6 odes, obviously the Ode to a Grecian Urn, Indolence, Melancholy, To Autumn, and To Psyche.
Psyche didn't have that.
And To a Nightingale. And To a Skylark came a couple of years later, I think. But it's technically to an ode, because the To Autumn, it doesn't have Ode to Autumn. It's just
no, right. Yeah, it's like, I think like whatever the official title is, it's like Ode on a Grecian Urn has the word ode at the beginning of the name, you know. But
yeah,
poems famously don't have names. They're just just the first line of the thing itself. So, but no.
Well done, Chris. I'm pleased that you got that one. I was hoping that we'd start out strong.
Exactly. We're here to play the game, and we're starting out strong. You've already got Laura Ingalls Wilder underneath your belt, so now we
out of nowhere.
That's so still. We'll see if that's the question of the night. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully we have more down the road.
Hopefully more. Who knows?
Who knows? We're on it. Here we go.
Yeah. Okay. Question number 2 again. The song "Respect," made famous in 1967 by Aretha Franklin, was written and originally recorded 2 years earlier in 1965 by what Georgia-born Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee?
I actually know where I first learned this fact. It was a NBC singing show called The Sing Off, I believe. It was an a cappella groups performing against each other. And Ben Folds was one of the judges. I remember Ben Folds was one of the judges on it. I always liked Ben Folds. And I learned watching that episode that time back in high school or middle school, that Respect is not, in fact, by Aretha Franklin, but is, in fact, I did not know he was from Georgia, but this is by Mr. Otis Redding, is the answer to that.
It is indeed. He was born in Dalton, Georgia, or Dayton, Georgia, some place beginning with D in Georgia.
Either of those two names sounds pretty good for a Georgia city.
Oh, yeah. And, of course, he's better known for his classic Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, which he actually wrote out in California, Sitting on the Bay.
Where there are not really bays in Georgia, unfortunately.
No.
Oh, that's not.
But yeah, Otis Redding. And not a lot of people know that he wrote the song "Respect." Now he did his own recording of it, and has a completely different tempo and slightly different lyrics to reflect, a man singing it. But Aretha's is the well-known one that sort of really kicks it up a notch. Redding's is a little bit more sort of soulful and almost mournful. It's a little softer. But he's the one who wrote the actual the music, most of the lyric, well, all the lyrics, and Aretha just decided to change some when she recorded her version.
That's how the magic goes. Like, how far covers can go.
Oh, indeed. And I think Aretha Franklin's version was about the third or fourth recording of Respect that had actually taken place in '65.
That's good.
They're all stealing each other's songs. You got a good thing going, somebody else is going to record it.
Nice.
All right, question 3. In the 1953 painting Golconda by Belgian surrealist René Magritte, the painting depicts multiple images of what falling from the sky?
The last question was a very musical question, and I think you can answer this question in another musical sense. And I think the lines best to describe the painting Golconda is, "It's raining men, hallelujah, it's raining men." I think it's a good way to describe it. These are suit-wearing, bowler-hatted gentlemen falling from the sky in Golconda.
Indeed. I actually stumbled upon this question, and it's a long time since I've done anything about Magritte. But I was actually logged in live streaming UK television on Sunday afternoon. That's how bad things have got in isolation quarantine. But I stumbled across just blindly and introduced the family to The Chase.
A great show.
Oh, you're a big fan.
A great show. Love me some The Chase.
And this was a question on there that they got wrong. So
the name of the painting, or what was falling?
Oh, it was "What is Falling from the Sky."
That's disappointing. I'm disappointed in everybody involved for but Magritte, he is a cool dude, and
he certainly is.
Cool things. And but no, there you go. But yeah, it is raining men, and he loves some bowler hats and the sky. He's a big fan.
Yeah. It's a great painting. It's one of my favorites. One of our easier ones. So, all right, well done on that one. Question 4 was, what Midwestern U.S. state is the setting for the 1957 musical The Music Man?
I'm slightly in trouble, which begins with a T, and that rhymes with P, which stands for pull. I've never actually seen The Music Man, and
it's a strange one.
No, I know a lot of the premise, and I think I'm hoping cultural osmosis brings me home, as it does with all trivia, truly.
Yeah.
The city in my mind for The Music Man, based on very little, because it's not like there's establishing shots of whatever, like I've never seen, like, there's a movie, I think it's a movie I haven't seen as well. My guess, Midwestern confirms it, I'm going to say St. Louis, but I don't have really much more than that. I'm going to say St. Louis.
Well, I'm going for the state, not the city.
So I will say Missouri, the state.
You're close.
Oh, God. So it is...
The setting for The Music Man is, it's in a fictional city.
Okay.
It's called River City. You're not too far away with Missouri.
All right. So I really like St. Louis. So I'm trying to think if I'm close. I assume all Midwestern states border Missouri. None of them don't. I'm trying to think what's a good so I'm trying to think of the other alternates. There's like Kansas, there's Illinois, I really like those two. There's not if I don't feel like The Music Man set in is it's set in, of course, Omaha is in Nebraska, and I feel like it's all kind of that neck of the woods. I'm gonna go. I guess I'm gonna go. Maybe it's in non-Chicago, Illinois. I'm gonna say Illinois.
I originally asked this question at the Bulldog, and I think you were in attendance.
I was
It must have been your teammates who answered it. One of the songs in the beginning that sets the scene for the Music Man is a song called Iowa Stubborn.
That's fair.
And they reference Davenport and Ames and Keokuk and all these other beautiful names, Midwestern tin pot holes. But River City, Iowa.
Man, that seems right. Yeah.
Where Professor Harold Hill jumps off the train and runs into Marion, Peru, and hoodwinks the entire town.
That's right.
Now, I have a liking for the Music Man, because with my British accent, what better part could I play in an American musical than Professor Harold Hill?
There you go.
I had to put on my Iowa Southern accents about 10 to 12 years ago, and I got to goof around and play a really nasty character. But it was a lot of fun.
Oh, Broadway's second most famous professor with the initials HH. There
you go.
Iowa, man.
Iowa, I'll get you every time.
That's disappointing. Yeah, I still like my answer of Missouri, even though it's not right. But all right.
Iowa borders Missouri, as you say, pretty much.
I said Midwest, and I picked the central one. I picked the capital of the Midwest. So that's disappointing. All right, Iowa. There you go.
All right. Yeah, if it weren't for the state lines, I don't think you could tell any of the states apart really by any distinguishing features. They're all flat. They're all full of soybeans and hogs and corn.
The cities are prominent, but there's state lines are people's farms bordering other people's farms, which is
pretty much. All right, let's move on to question 5. What is the only current NFL franchise to have never appeared in a conference championship game?
Right. I think I have this, and I'm pretty sure this fact still holds. And I think my brother, who is certainly the NFL trivia expert of my family, I believe he holds this truth to be very important to him, because we are Dallas Cowboys fans in our household. And I believe it's the Houston Texans that have never even been.
This was a question. They've never played in a conference championship game.
Right.
Yeah.
So I believe the Houston Texans will be the team there. So
yeah, you're absolutely correct. Well, the thing they don't really have going for them is longevity and history.
Right.
That's not. But even the other teams that haven't fared quite so well, the Jaguars made the AFC conference game, lost to the Patriots in 2018, and even your other, also ran teams make up the numbers teams. Apologies to any fans. The Lions and the Browns, they back in history have made conference championship games, but the only one.
I think about longevity. I think there was until last year there was the fact that the Mariners and the Nationals have never been to a World Series, and then that broke when the Nationals, who were a very relatively new team, went and won the World Series. And so the Mariners, who have longevity, still are on the bum end of the
well, I think baseball's kind of the anomaly there in North American pro sports, that it seems a lot of new franchises have gone on to win the championship games in a relatively short period of time. I'm thinking of the Diamondbacks, who I think have done it the shortest, and the Marlins.
Yep, that's exactly right. Rays did very well, I think.
They've done, I don't think they've won it, but they've
gotten near.
Anyway, well done. So 4 out of 5 were neck and neck.
Here we go. So hopefully, if you're playing along, maybe you swept the round, maybe you're tied with us, but there's still more questions to go. And now we head to round number 2. All righty. So here we go. Our 5 questions for you, Andy. Number 1 is in 1872, outdoor enthusiast and businessman Leon Leonwood Bean was born in which U.S. state?
Okay.
Number 2 is this question has 2 different answers to it. Number 2 is, as listed on their website, there are 15 toppings you can get for free when ordering a burger from Five Guys. Which two of those 15 ingredients begin with a vowel? There you go. That's number 2. Number 3, giant bows are a trademark of what annual wintertime commercial campaign for Lexus with a 3-word name? Number 4, what popular 1956 song by Elvis Presley was written for the 1956 film set in the Civil War that starred Elvis Presley, also marking Elvis's acting debut? And number 5, the dollar has a double letter in it, LL, but the euro didn't replace the dollar. I want you to name the 3 countries whose currencies contained a double letter and was replaced by the euro. So those are the 5 questions in round 2 for Andy. So if you want to take time, you can pause it here. But
please.
We'll start off at the top. You got some thinking time for some of those at the end there, but here we go. Number 1 in round 2 was in 1872, outdoor enthusiast and businessman Leon Wood Bean was born in what U.S. state?
This one I think I know. It popped into my head pretty quickly. It's a state that's kind of out there, backwoodsy. I want to say that Mr. L.L. Bean did his shtick in Maine.
He was a Mainer. He, in fact, was his store. The first LL Bean was famously opened, or the headquarters of LL Bean is still in the state of Maine, but that is where he is. Leon Wood.
Yeah, it's always a strange name there. Yeah.
They stuck to their roots really quickly, but yes, very well done. LL Bean is a man from Maine. Very well done. Number 2 was our 5 Guys question. Was listed on their website. There are 15 toppings you can get for free when ordering a burger from 5 Guys. Which 2 of those 15 ingredients begin with a vowel? And I'll quickly say that it's not like extra whatever is a topping or anything like that. No. The name of the thing begins with a vowel. So
I'm at a distinct disadvantage here. I have never eaten at 5 Guys.
Ooh, that is something I did not know, but that is interesting. All right. Yeah.
And one of the reasons for that is they use peanut oil. I have a mild peanut allergy. It's the same way I tend to avoid Chick-fil-A a little bit.
Got you. Okay.
So, how many toppings did 2 that begin with a vowel?
That's right.
And beginning with a vowel. Well, I think something that kind of divides people, but does begin with a vowel that I think would make a pretty good topping on a burger, and I think it's available at 5 Guys, although I can't go and be sure, would be onion.
I'm not going to say, I'll say, okay, first guess is onion. All right, I won't say if it's right or wrong. I'll let you give both your answers if I tell you which ones.
Okay, and another burger topping beginning with a vowel. This is a really good question.
This is an excellent everybody at a table working together and coming up.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And I'm drawing a blank here. The only other thing I can think of that might go, and I put weird things on my burgers anyway, but let's throw out olives.
All right, so I will tell you that onions is the correct answer. You can, in fact, get onions on your burger, which doesn't seem that crazy at a burger restaurant. Your guess of olive is incorrect. It is not one of them. I will tell you that it is a sauce.
Aioli?
A perfectly fine guess, but it is not aioli. They only have standard mayo as as that condiment there, but it is a sauce that begins with a vowel.
Sauce that begins with a vowel. Why is it when you put on the spot like this, everything just flies out of your head?
That's right. This is
I'm going to go con on this one, and I can't think of a sauce that begins with a vowel.
that is fine. I will run through the I make sure I pulled up the menu on their website. Have all these in front of me. The ingredients they have mayo, lettuce, pickles, tomato, grilled onions, grilled mushrooms, ketchup, mustard, relish, onions, jalapeno peppers, green peppers, barbecue sauce, hot sauce, and the one that we're missing here at the very end is A1 sauce. It is A1 sauce is the ingredient there. That is it. You can get A1.
That either, so it would never even enter the realms of possibility.
That is, yes, A1. That is the other ingredient there. And so technically a name brand, even though the Five Guys website does not have like a TM or R or anything next to A1 sauce, but it very much is the original classic steak sauce that you can order on your burger. I have never gotten it, but no, A1. There you go. That is the other ingredient there. So, but onions is very well correct, very well done on that. So you get the half credit there.
I'll take half credit.
Absolutely. A1 eluded you there. Number 3 is giant bows are a trademark of what annual wintertime commercial campaign for Lexus with a 3-word name?
I've seen these commercials. And now we're in March, and I really don't pay that much attention to marketing campaigns. One, particularly for Lexus, because they're out of my budgetary realm.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
I cannot remember this, and I'm sure everybody's going, God, he's a dummy.
I'll tell you this. I asked this question at Bulldog during the Christmas-themed edition, and like, not even half the room got it. Like, it was in the middle of December when I asked this question for other people, and they didn't get it then. So this is I really want to ask a non-seasonal question.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It throws you for a loop.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called.
I'll give you. Yeah. This is in fact a nice, hard, fun question. So I'll give you 2 hints. One is it has a timely name, and the second hint is the first and third words rhyme.
Nah, I could do this all night and I wouldn't come up with it.
December to remember is what it is.
Gag.
There it is. December to remember.
Note to self, pay more attention to the commercials.
All right, there you go. I somehow went very corporate. We had LL Bean and Five Guys and Lexus for the first 3 questions.
Yeah, are you like sponsored by any of these, Chris?
No, I promise you, I'm not getting paid by any of these people. That is very disappointing. So if they want to sponsor me, let me know. I will gladly take free Lexus and or free Five Guys. I'm not picky. I will take either. There we go. Number 4 is what popular 1956 song by Elvis Presley was written for the 1956 film set in the Civil War that starred Elvis Presley and also marked Elvis's acting debut?
There are so many possibilities to this.
You wrote a bunch of songs and you appear in a lot of movies. You are right.
Yeah. Oh, there's some I know that it's not. I'm hoping it's not Blue Hawaii. That's kind of the wrong time frame.
The Western Front of the Civil War did not make it out to Hawaii.
That we know of.
That we know of. That's right. There might have been some Confederates on Oahu, revolting against America, but as far as we know, not today.
1956 Civil War themed movie. I really sort of just remember his sort of World War II type things. GI Blues or something like that. That was one of them. I have never seen an Elvis Presley movie. My aunt, God rest her departed soul, was the biggest Elvis fan in the world. But he just wasn't played much in his system. Her sister, my mother, didn't like Elvis. So, just to throw out an Elvis song and see if I can strike question 4 gold again with just a blind crapshoot.
Right.
Let's throw out Jailhouse Rock.
I was really hoping you were going to say it, but that is not the right answer. Jailhouse Rock is not the correct answer there. I will trying to think. I don't really have. I'm not great. I should have some lyrics written down. This is a 3-word title. I'll give you that.
All Shuck Up.
Not it. Another good guess.
Nope, haven't listened to as much Elvis as I probably should have.
That's fine. Me tell you.
Yep.
This is Love Me Tender.
Really? Yep. Wow, that is that was not one I would have gone towards.
Yeah, Love Me Tender was a song for name of that movie and the name of that song. I've never seen the movie.
I didn't realize that was set in the Civil War. That's so little I know about president movies.
I think wild. If you have, it's lots of Elvis movies. I want to have a good older film question for you. I thought Love Me Tender there, but no, that is that was the song and or movie in question by Elvis. So there you go. And rounding out number 5 was the dollar has a double letter in it, but the euro didn't replace the dollar. Name the 3 countries whose currencies contain a double letter and was replaced by the euro.
Well, the one that immediately leaps to mind, I actually worked out there pre-euro times, and that would be Austria with the shilling.
That is correct. The Austrian shilling was one of them.
And now I'm just running through. I love the old currencies. One, they pop up in crossword puzzles all the time.
Right.
So
they're not sure. Yeah. Not that euro doesn't pop up, but yes, exactly.
It does. A short word.
They have nice short names. Makes it very nice.
Your letters. I'm actually struggling on these. In Spain, you had the peseta, the escudo in Portugal. We never gave up in our currency. The Irish had the pound as well, the punt. You have the francs in France and Belgium, the guilder in the Netherlands, Deutschmark, lira, drachma in Greece. And now we're beginning to, it must be some of the more recent joiners, which is basically, since that time I've been over here and kind of not paid as much attention to the European Union. Poland joined, I think they had the zloty anyway, and that's not double consonants. The
double letter, I will say, not double.
Double. That's what I meant. I knew what I meant, Chris. I just didn't.
I want to make sure don't want to have you go down the wrong path,
Yeah, which I'm quite wont to do sometimes. And I can't remember. I mean, the kronas of various countries don't fit the bill here, so it's got to be somewhere. One of the more recent ones to join. So just for fun and games, let's start Romania, because I can't remember what their currency was, and Latvia.
All right, so those are your 2 guesses there. Latvia, its former currency was the lita, L-I-T-A, and it is not double letter. Romania has avoided joining the EU.
The Eurozone, yeah, okay.
And their current currency is the leu, L-E-U.
Oh, that's
that. And so the other, so 2 countries are still out there. I will give you a hint. I will give you the double letter for the two other currencies.
You're too kind, Chris. Thank you.
You work backwards. One of them is a double O. Does that help?
It's a krona.
That's right. Or without the final vowel, the kroon, K-R-O.
Oh, yeah. And I get all these mixed up in Scandinavia. One I've never been, and so I never had any need for their currency. My gut wants to say Sweden.
Is not Sweden. That they have. I think they're a kroon. They're one of them.
Yeah.
The kroon is Estonia. It is the Estonian kroon. You were
I was close with Latvia.
You were very close with Latvia. You're one off, but it was not that. And the other
close as Missouri to Iowa.
Exactly. You were just the same difference there. One municipality off, and the other double letter is a double K.
Double K. Oh, would that be Finland?
That is the Finnish marka, or the other currency there. But nope, in the O, but that is it. The Austrian shilling, the Estonian kroon, and the Finnish marka. So there you go. Very extremely well done there. Lots of like I said, gotta have a fun currency round like that in the EU.
Absolutely. Yeah. Money.
And so I will give you got Maine outright, and you got a couple of halves there, so I'll give you 2 points on all that. So there you go.
I'll take that. Those were good questions and made me think. And yeah, well done on the question writing.
That's what we're here. We're here to ask some questions to make get the brain going and seeing what fun things we can just throw out there. So here we go.
Jeez. Are you ready for yours, sir?
Do it.
All right. Well, these are all questions that, with the exception of the poetry question, that I have asked since as a trivia host here in Atlanta. These are not written by me. I've changed the spelling and punctuation mistakes and made them read a little bit better.
Might as well let it go round. That's right.
But these are from our hardest round questions, which do sometimes get quite weird, wacky, and wonderful.
That's what I want to hear. Fantastic.
So question 1 is, what U.S. president signed into law the bill that made the Star-Spangled Banner the national anthem? Question 2. Before ad signs obliterated the view from within the stadium, a sign for what brand of gasoline has loomed over Fenway Park's Green Monster since 1940? Question 3, here's your poetry question. 1922 was the year of what is considered to be the greatest modernist novel and the greatest modernist poem. The novel is Ulysses by James Joyce. What is the title of the 1922 poem that is considered the greatest modernist poem that begins with the lines, "April is the cruelest month, breeding lilacs out of the dead land, mixing memory and desire, stirring dull roots with spring rain"? Question 4. I want you to give me the names of both civil rights activists who were the co-founders of the Black Panther Party in 1966. And question 5. Now in its 16th season, Complications was a suggested title for what primetime television drama series?
Excellent. These are phenomenal.
Going to run the gamut there. As best we can.
All right. So if you're thinking at home, you can pause it and then come back when you're ready. But all right, here we go. Let's start from the top. Start up.
Okay. Question 1. What U.S. president signed into law the bill that made the Star-Spangled Banner the national anthem?
All right. So let us, what could be right answers here? I'm just trying to put the timeline right. It's obviously written about the Battle of Fort McHenry, which was during the War of 1812. And I know that that's not when it was that's not when it was like signed. It wasn't an immediate national anthem at that point. And I'm confident, is a loose confident, but I'm confident it is some president from like Lincoln to FDR inclusive. Like it's one of that time span. It's not after FDR, nor is it before Lincoln, even though it was around for like 50 years before Lincoln. Like the poem existed. And I'm trying to think, like I said, I don't have I'm trying to think. I mean, I think I've heard that Lincoln, they didn't play the national anthem when Lincoln was doing things. They had a different song. I forgot what, I'm not sure if it's a song we know today, but it was a different song they used. But I don't really have any strong leanings of what the president might be. I'm going to say Abraham Lincoln. I know I mean, whatever year it was, I don't know what year that is. I have memories of, I mean, Lincoln's always a good guess for a lot of things. Turns out he was an important dude that did many things. And I'm going to go Abraham Lincoln. That'll be my guess.
Okay. Well, you were right in the time period from Lincoln to FDR.
Mm-hmm.
The Star Spangled Banner, while it was used sometimes, it wasn't officially the U.S. national anthem for quite some time.
Sure.
Quite some time. With the company that I work with hosting trivia, we always have, or seem to have, what I call our obligatory president question.
Sure. It's good.
And it always gets a bit of a giggle. This was one relatively recently, and there's no real time frame of when it happened. But it blew my mind when I was fact checking this to make sure it was right. That it wasn't. If I'll give you the year and see, hopefully you can guess the president.
I hope I can do that. Yeah.
This was March 3rd, 1931.
1931
became the national anthem. Yeah.
So that
the law anyway. I think it had been used. It just wasn't official.
Sure. No. So 1931, 40. So that would have been. Yeah, it would have been Hoover. It would have been Herbert Hoover would have signed the bill then.
Right. Absolutely right.
I was right when I said Lincoln to FDR. It was just
exactly, yeah. But you had quite a few options falling within that time.
I said very specifically. I know I can narrow it down, but that narrowed it down from like our 16th to our 32nd president. It didn't make it that much easier, but yeah. So Herbert Hoover, that is.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was so late that occurred. But
I don't. Did your research say when they started using it, like as the song?
It's hard to say. It's kind of apocryphal.
They didn't write anything down back in the day. They really just let they played songs. So there you go. Yeah. Herbert Hoover, man, I wouldn't have guessed him. I mean, like
it's not very often with our mandatory obligatory president questions that Herbert Hoover is the correct answer.
Sure, no, he's certainly a guy, the vacuum guy, as Humberland too.
There you go.
And but no, I would have definitely thought it was an earlier, not later.
Yeah. And when I asked the question, I don't think anybody got it right.
That's very specific knowledge, and I've been very good. But Herbert Hoover, that is a very.
I know you know your presidents, and I wanted to know if maybe you could.
I work hard to write history questions that aren't just the I make sure, because presidents are a nice, good list of people. They have set times where they did their things. America can be often viewed through the lens of the president of the time of whatever happened. And so it's always a very good gold mine to go down. That is certainly for sure. So.
Yeah, and it's often used by trivia hosts. So
it's a
fair game.
Yeah, it's a very fair game. Exactly. Herbert Hoover. Would not guess that, though.
Herbert Hoover. There you go. So question 2. Before ad signs obliterated the view from within the stadium, a sign for what brand of gasoline has loomed over Fenway Park's Green Monster since 1940?
This one I am very confident on, as I make an annual pilgrimage to the city of Boston every year for an event But I am very. I've also been to a game at Fenway Park. It was when I was in college. Our family did a baseball tour. We did got on a bus and we went to games in D.C. We went to Yankee Stadium. We went to the Met Stadium, the Phillies, and Fenway. And it was a 4th of July game. It was a 4th of July game at Fenway, and it was one of the hottest things I've ever attended. We were on an upper deck seat, and it was so hot. It was so hot. But I am very certain that the Citgo sign is a famous Boston landmark that you will find.
Indeed, it is absolutely right. Hard to see from within the stadium these days.
But if you're there, like on, but anywhere like in the outside area, it's a nice big. You can actually see it. The hotel where I'm usually at in Boston each year, you can actually see it. The big Citgo sign across the river, which is a very nice.
I knew you were up there. I just wondered how much attention you'd been paying.
Don't worry, Boston. I've been getting better at the Boston geography every time I go up there. I try every time I go up there. I try to make it my mission to go see a new thing when I'm up there. Instead of so.
That's the way to do it.
Absolutely, it's a very lovely city, and I enjoyed it so much this year, and I can't wait until anyone can travel, and then I get to go back at some point. So that'll be
yeah. Well, that's part of the reason I'm here, stuck indoors right now. We were supposed to be in Salt Lake City this week.
Oh, nice. That is
postpone the trip. We're not
canceling. Everything's on pause right now, but
yep.
You'll make it out to the Great Salt Lake, and then
So I'm inside my own personal Winchester, waiting for all this to blow over.
There you go. Perfect. Absolutely.
All right. So question 3, great year of 1922. I don't remember it, but was the year of what is considered to be the publication of the greatest modernist novel and the greatest modernist poem. The novel is Ulysses by Joyce. What is the 1922 poem that begins with the lines, April is the cruelest month, breeding lilacs out of the dead land, mixing memory and desire, stirring dull roots with spring rain?
I will point out that St. Louis was an incorrect answer in round 1, but it will return in round 2 as this British poet was born in the city of St. Louis, Missouri, before he expatriated over to the United Kingdom. And April is the cruelest month, though March is currently
running in a close second. Yeah,
a very close second. This is the first lines of part 1 of The Wasteland by Thomas Stearns Eliot.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, who also was perhaps my first exposure to British poetry, but not The Wasteland. It was more his old Possum's Book of Practical Cats.
Made into the hit 2019 film that I saw by myself with no one else in the theater late last year. I saw it. I went on a Sunday afternoon to see Cats. No one went with me, and no one else was in the theater. So I got to make comments aloud to no one.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I do want to see it because it's one of those that it's not a story per se.
Oh, there's no story. In fact,
no, there's no story. And I was trying to be kind.
Yeah.
But so how do you make something that can grab people's attention? It made a fantastic sort of ensemble Broadway piece, but giving it the Hollywood big screen treatment with an all-star cast and anthropomorphic cats with CGI, yeah. I don't think it's as bad as people were making out, but it's no all-time great movie.
And that is the exact mentality you should bring into this.
Yeah. What I want to take into it. I will watch it soon.
Yeah, if you think it's not the best movie in the world, it's a pretty okay movie. And you're just man, they made this. That's wild. They got all these people to be in this movie. It's pretty remarkable how many good people appear in that movie. That is, on that alone, it's semi-worth checking out. How they got Idris Elba, Judi Dench, and Taylor Swift to all be in the same movie. That's pretty great.
Able to afford them to be in the same movie.
Exactly. Yeah. And then that's only just 3 of other people, including James Corden and Jennifer Hudson. It's wild how many folks are in that movie. That is
But anyway, we've had an interesting segue from The Wasteland, but into Cats, but all by the same author, same poet. So
and also
nice.
A good fact: C.S. Eliot is an anagram of toilets. Always worth pointing out.
Indeed, indeed.
Very important to know.
All right, let's move on from poetry to civil rights
Yeah.
activists. I wanted you to give me the names of the two civil rights activists who founded the Black Panther Party back in 1966.
Right. So I'm trying to think about this. There's a number of names, obviously, that are from. Say it again.
That's a good start. The names, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a number of names of civil rights activists, leaders, and important figures of the time period, and I'm trying to think which two are with Black Panther. The two guesses I have, because these are names I feel like are pretty associated with the Black Panther. The two names I have, the one I feel better about, I'm trying to make sure it's Seal, S-E-A. I think it's Bobby Seale. I think is one name.
One of them, yeah. I'll give you, that's your one answer.
All right. And the other name I have is Stokely Carmichael. Those are the two names I'm going to put forth.
Carmichael was not actually considered, he was an early member.
Okay.
He didn't found out. I wasn't very familiar with Bobby Seale until I read up on him a little bit. The one that I knew that popped into my head, and there's a funny story to go along with this in a more sort of contemporary setting, is Huey Newton.
Oh, that's the name.
I think the more famous of between him and Seale, but I'm very impressed that you got Seale, so I'm definitely give you credit for that. But Huey Newton. So my eldest stepdaughter used to work at a movie theater, and she worked at the ticket booth. And when the movie Black Panther came out, breaking all box office records right, left, and center, she had a gentleman come up and say, I can't remember the name of the movie I want to see, but it's that one about Huey Newton. And she had to say, we don't have any biopics about Huey Newton at the point.
This is disappointing, and I hope they enjoyed. Yeah, I hope they enjoyed. They thought it was going to be a civil rights biopic, and ended up being a Marvel movie,
superhero movie. Yeah,
that's excellent.
It'll be a very, very good one, but probably not what they originally signed up for.
Oh, for sure. That is definitely not what was going on there. That would be like whenever Black Widow comes out and it's not a movie about Spider-Man or Spider-Man.
Yeah.
In fact, it's about Scarlett Johansson instead. So that is disappointing. But Huey Newton, that's definitely a name associated. Yeah, certainly from
I'm impressed that you got Seale, but
I knew those two people, and I don't know which ones meet Forrest Gump in the scene. I think I've read before. Neither of the people, nobody that meets with Forrest Gump is like one of the. But I think they're based on the real historical figures that formed the Black Panther. But I will take half credit, and Huey Newton and his news will go.
Nice. So whole power of a different love. Incidentally, as a nice aside, did you know that the Black Panthers actually had 2 international chapters as well?
The you said White Panthers?
The Black Panthers.
I did not know. Where were the other? Where was it? Like was it?
One was the. See if you can guess. One, I'd be surprised if you can, but maybe given the time frame of what was going on. I'll give you a clue. One's European and one's African.
The ultra oppressed African one, would it be South Africa? No. Kenya?
No, think trying to escape French oppression in the mid to late 60s.
Let's see. Was it Ghana or Nigeria? Maybe Ghana?
No, Ghana and Nigeria were British protectorates.
Right. I was trying to think that because one of the main African African American leaders, he renamed himself after Nkrumah. I forgot all that story. What is it? French? So it would have been like the French is the middle part. So is it? It's not like Sudan, is it? Like, is it? Or
not a very long country, but head further north.
Chad?
No, even more further north.
Algeria and or.
Yeah. Algeria. Yeah, they were a very bloody war to escape
They were in a
French.
pickle back in the day. Yeah. And so the other one is Europe, maybe Spain. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Well, I'm not sure what would be a good candidate here.
I don't even know why, and I couldn't find anything to back this up.
Ireland.
No, close.
The other one, United Kingdom.
United Kingdom had a chapter of the Black Panthers.
There you go.
Yeah, that just surprised me. And then Algeria, I thought Algeria, and then of course with the backdrop of going time, it makes perfect sense. But anyway, I thought that was a little interesting tidbit of.
I know. The UK chapter of the Black Panthers. That's very good. So
there you go. But there's the polite Black Panthers.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. They drink tea. That's all beautiful.
And let's round things off with question 5 in our second round. Now in its 16th season, Complications was a suggested title for what primetime television drama series?
So I was trying to think what shows have the current longevity. And 16 years ago was about 2004, just subtraction of numbers. And the only name I have is I feel like this show's definitely been on for about that amount of time. I feel like that feels about right. And I guess the name kind of feels very how the setting of where the show could be. You can see that. I'm going to guess Grey's Anatomy for this TV show.
And you would guess correctly.
And,
yeah, well worked out. It's I did throw in a little bit of a time frame reference there, just to
exactly.
Yeah, and Complications. It had to be kind of a I don't know. I guess it wouldn't have to be a medical drama, but that's what I would automatically have.
Sounds great. That's a very good message for it, and they chose a different name instead. I don't know when that. A very good. I mean, because the main character, from my understanding, is Meredith Grey, so it seems not that big of a leap to go.
Yeah, and of course you've got a slightly famous reference book.
Exactly. So that all fits pretty good.
It does. You can take your complications, my friend.
Yeah, well, that seems weird that they had all these, like, Meredith Grey, Grey's Anatomy. It all seems like a connected web, as if they wrote it that way.
But let's call it Complications. Wait a minute, there's something else in there.
Everything else is like that. So, but no, and let's see. On that, I think there is 3. I got 3 Sitgo, the poem, Grace, and I'll take half on one half of
the 3.5. I'll give you on that one. Well done.
So now we come back to you for your last set of 5, and should be a fun set. So here we go. Number 1, I hate to tell you this, is math. We got to save it. We had to have a math question.
Fine.
That is right. But luckily, this is very European math. So here we go. Your first question is 10 to the 3 is kilo, which is symbolized by K. 10 to the minus 2 is centi, which is symbolized by a C. What is the only exponent that is symbolized by a Greek letter? So that's number 1 there. Number 2, airing April 12th, 1969, episode 6 of the TV serial titled The Space Pirates is the most recent episode with what specific quality? Number 3, so a nice athletics question here. Number 3 is Dutch athlete Tennis Ozendarp won an Olympic bronze medal for his time of 21.3 seconds in the 200 meter. I want you to name the 2 Americans who earned first and second at the event with times of 20.7 and 21.1 seconds. I will say that the 20.7 was a Olympic record. Number 4, I Wish, Knocks Me Off My Feet, Pastime Paradise, Isn't She Lovely, As, and Another Star are all songs written in what key? And that's number 4. And number 5, our last question on the set here is, What is the only Semitic language to be recognized as one of the official languages of the European Union? So there we go. That is our round 3 tonight for you. We'll start off from the top. Number 1 is 10 to the 3 is kilo, which is represented by a K, and 10 to the -2 is centi, which is symbolized by a C. What is the only exponent that is symbolized by a Greek letter?
I have not taken a single math class in more than 30 years.
That's all very fair. I will say this is really more science because this is basically the metric system.
I have not taken a science class in the same period of time.
You still got to use things like centigrade and whatnot, so that's still technically,
Yeah.
European. That's the thing as the cross you have to bear. I saw some tweet that said, while the schools are all shut down, teach your kids the metric system, so that way the Americans will all be converted in this time. And it's like, that ain't gonna happen. That's not.
I was forced to learn the metric system as a child, and but we used the imperial system
Right.
at home.
It still bucks the trend. There you go.
Yeah. Oh, Greek. We're looking for a Greek letter.
Well, if you really gave me either, I mean, I'm really looking for a number, like 10 to the blank. I'm really looking for the number there. And it's like the same way a kilometer is km and a centimeter is cm. The blank M, that blank is filled by a Greek letter when you write it out.
Okay, I'm going to go with nu. That's about all I can do.
Nu, N-U, is your guess there? That is incorrect. That is not the right Greek letter. It is a different, you're actually one off. It is a one letter off from nu.
I don't know my Greek alphabet as well as I should. No, you have to help me out.
There's one before is mu, M.
Ah, okay, yeah.
So does that help you out? This is the prefix, mu is used for the prefix for micro. When you use micro, you draw like a double tent, like a little double tent as it were, which is the lowercase mu, and that is like the symbol for it. And a micro, that is 10 to the -6, and that is the equivalent of 1 millionth is the micro, and that is the but you use it as that.
You're giving me all day for that one.
No, exactly. Yeah, I want to have a good math question to get you to stump you on there in the last set.
It doesn't take much with anything math or technical science stuff.
You might know your prefixes. That might be a thing that is a thing to know. But no, yeah, that is that's tricky. That is hard.
I've learned something today. I've learned several things today. But
what this entire game is about is learning new things.
Absolutely.
Number 2 is on April 12th, 1969, episode 6 of the TV serial, that's serial, IAL, titled The Space Pirates, is the most recent episode with what specific quality?
69. Well into the color age by now. The Space Pirates is something that sounds incredibly familiar to me, and I can't think why. Maybe for this reason. And did you say it was the most recent or the last?
It is the most recent episode with a certain quality. That's right.
My mind wants to go off in all sorts of different directions. I want to go that it was done by mime or something like that, which would be interesting, but probably wrong. Specific quality.
That's right.
That really just kind of throws this one in a completely strange direction. I know in the 60s, early 70s, they were experimenting with all different types of media and this wasn't something that was in 3D or something, was it?
No.
I feel like I'm going to kick myself, but I've heard the Space Pirate sounds like there's something there, but I can't remember what.
Yeah. So I'll give you some hints here. So there is a list of episodes that have this specific quality. And so the sixth part of this TV serial is the most recent to have this quality. Of that serial of 6 episodes of the Space Pirates, episodes 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6 all have the quality, even though episode 2 does not, which is odd. And that is, it is not. Episode 2 is not on this list because of a discovery made during the 90s. Episode 2 does not have this quality.
Discovery made during the 90s. I have absolutely no idea, Chris.
And I will give you a person that was in this episode was Patrick Troughton.
Well, he was a Doctor Who.
That is correct.
What quality? I'm still not seeing any sort of semblance of linkage here. I'm still thrown out by quality. I'm not grasping that.
Descriptor. There's like, I'm trying to think of like the way to phrase it, you know. It's like a...
No, this one's got me.
So I have no idea if you've seen these episodes, and if you have, you probably should let the BBC know pretty soon, because these episodes are missing. There is a number, the series of Doctor Who is not complete in terms of being recorded. And there's almost about 80 episodes of early Doctor Who that are lost to time, as it were.
That doesn't surprise me, given the way the BBC worked on a pretty much shoestring budget.
Exactly. I mean, part of it was how much money the BBC would have. Part of it was the style of erasing tapes to make room for other tapes back in, was a very common practice.
Yeah, that's.
But there are missing episodes, and the most recent episode that is lost, there's only like still frames the BBC has, is that was that episode of the second Doctor there.
A little bit before my time. I really didn't get into Doctor Who until kind of late John Pertwee, early Tom Baker.
Right, exactly. And then part of it is like those were like, there is every now and then I mean, I don't really watch the show, but it is pretty amazing when you hear discoveries of how they found an episode, because it was a few years ago. I think it was somebody was cleaning out a BBC station in Kenya, and they found a tape of one of these episodes, and they were able to like make it, you know, to have it. And it's like, that's how crazy it is. It's like like in the discovery of the 90s, you know, it was like some person had a recording of episode 2, so that one isn't lost, but the other ones in that 6-episode serial are still lost to time. And so
I just on a similar note, Doctor Who wasn't the only thing that this happened to. I'm sure it happened to many series, but I just finished reading Sir David Attenborough's one of his early diaries about the nature tours that he persuaded the BBC to fund back in the 50s. And you know these were the first time that sort of nature shows they'd gone into the natural environment in Indonesia or Guyana to film species in their natural environment, natural habitat. And they made these shows, and now they don't exist because they were just erased to make room for more recent shows. They probably got some Benny Hill on or something like that.
I mean, it's a lot. What I've discovered in like looking at old American shows, as far as I can tell, shows that came on a lot were very easily on the chopping block. So things like the news, game shows, talk shows, those were all virtually you'll have a game show that ran for like 1,000 episodes, and they have like 4 episodes saved.
Yeah.
It's like in like a UCLA library, like it's but like Doctor Who, probably the most famous example is that people will say that you need 100 episodes in order to syndicate a TV show. Doctor Who has that number of episodes missing in their archive that they could almost have enough syndicated lost episodes. But no, these are specifically missing episodes of Doctor Who, which is
that's an
maybe
interesting fact.
Yeah, and maybe they are out there somewhere, but as of right now, they are not. So, but if you have a copy, please let the BBC know immediately. I'm sure
they would be
interested.
Willing to take that phone call.
Yeah, you'll probably get a little something for it if you drive one of those. All right, our athletics question number 3 is Dutch athlete Tennis Ozendorp won an Olympic bronze medal for his time of 21.3 seconds in the 200 meter. So I want you to name the 2 Americans who earned first and second at the event that had times of 20.7 and 21.1 seconds.
I lost interest in athletics after the 96 Olympics. I haven't watched, I haven't read anything, so I couldn't even name 2 American sprinters.
Sure.
I'm assuming this is relatively recent because those are impressive times.
I would not say this is a recent Olympics in any capacity.
Now you got me thinking a little bit. It's definitely an Olympics, I think, considerably before mine or your time.
There's one that's there's a number before either of our times. I'd say they've been doing for 2,000 years. So we don't have good times with all but
modern era.
Or did the meter exist? Probably. They probably didn't have the meter back then either. They didn't know what 200 years was in their lives.
Yeah, cubits and spans.
Exactly. Some different measurement for any running races. Yeah. They ran from here to there. They just they found 2 spots and just run in between those 2 spots. That was their market.
Come on, Spiros, get on it.
Yeah.
One of them, I'm just going out on a limb here, and now I'm second guessing myself on kind of the time period and the speeds. I mean, this is an impressive time for me. I know for a fact I couldn't run the 200 meters in 41.3 seconds. I'm just going to throw one out and say one's Jesse Owens.
So the question was originally read. So the probable most likely thing you might think of 2 Americans in the 200-meter dash would be Tommy Smith and John Carlos, who famously in Mexico City threw one hand in the air during the medaling. However, John Carlos was bronze, and it was Australian sprinter Peter Norman that famously respected what the other 2 guys were doing, was ostracized in Australia after his events, but it was that was not that Olympics. The Olympics in question here is the 1936 Berlin Games, and Jesse Owens, as you correctly noted, is the gold medalist here. He was the gold. Do you know who was silver at these Olympics?
I know. Golly, there was another. He's not as famous for his athletics, is he? Or is he?
This guy is not. This guy is famous for being connected to somebody else.
Okay. That's not how I was thinking of that. And I think I'm in completely the wrong sport or athletic discipline. I don't know. I have no idea who came second.
So the other person that was second behind Jesse Owens in the 36 200-meter dash was Mac Robinson, who is the brother of pioneering American baseball player Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson's brother was silver at the 36 200-meter dash.
I've actually had the privilege of actually going to the stadium in Berlin.
That's exciting.
I used to go there every 2 weeks back in the mid-90s. It was weird. Retrofitted for the 2006 World Cup, and now to Hertha Berlin in the Bundesliga. But they still have a lot of the Olympic, carvings and.
Right.
You know,
I know, like Jesse Owens' cabin or his Olympic village where he stayed is still preserved as part of. They 36 wasn't exactly a highlight year for the Olympics. They had a leader at the time that was problematic, but certainly
he liked to have his own way and wanted things done his own way.
Yeah, but Jesse Owens is still, the American athlete. Still there.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, Jesse Owens famously, but Mac Robinson, the brother of Jackie, was the silver medalist in that event. And that is, so even though he was a silver medalist, he did not live up to the fame of sports that his brother Jackie Robinson would do.
No, but still, Olympic silver is not too shabby.
Oh, for sure, exactly. It's just exactly. That's just a very cool.
That's
thing.
an interesting fact.
I mean, like, I got another thing. If you really, if you knew that Jackie Robinson's brother was in the Olympics, you may have, But that was, I was wondering how much athletics knowledge you had, and so that was, but no, very well. Jesse Owens, a great guess, absolutely.
I was massively into athletics in the Olympics from about 1980 to about 96.
And the Berlin Games were not the one of those in that time.
I did. Yeah, I read up on it because I had to tell my groups of English-speaking tourists this is where Jesse Owens won his medals, and this was the Jesse Owens Games. Yeah, so but
there you go. Very half credit on that.
I stumbled about that with a little bit of assistance from you.
There you go. It's all about hints here. We're making sure we're trying to get you along the finish line there. But very well done, Jesse Owens. Number 4 is "I Wish," "Knocks Me Off My Feet," "Pastime Paradise," "Isn't She Lovely," "As," and "Another Star" are all songs written in what key? And that is question number 4.
The only song I really know off the top of my head is "Isn't She Lovely," and now thank you for having that one stuck in my head. I'm assuming we're talking about the Stevie Wonder version, or are these more recent songs? Because if it's different, "Isn't She Lovely," then
I will say that "Isn't She Lovely" the original. I would say the one.
Okay. I'm just trying to think of. It's got to be something that's relatively easy to sing in. Let's go with. I've done a fair bit of music theory. The key of either C or G. Those are the two that tend to be the easiest. I'm going to go with G.
All right. So the thing is that the answer I'm looking for is not a note on a scale, if that helps. I'm not looking for G or A flat.
Now I'm absolutely with you. In fact, I just bought this a few months ago, and that would be "Songs in the Key of Life."
Yes, these are all songs from the Stevie Wonder album, "Songs in the Key of Life," and Sir Duke, probably the most famous song on that album.
Yeah. "Isn't She Lovely?" I was thinking,
No, that is excellent. I was gonna let you keep walking down this path. I was like, I want to hear him say out loud what key, like musical keys he has in mind. And
then I got to thinking, well, "Isn't She Lovely?" That's not, because it's more for simplicity for playing on a guitar. And I thought, well, that's Stevie Wonder. That's a Stevie Wonder song. He plays piano. You can play in any damn key you like and just sort of transpose it up or down, and then it sort of. Well, is that what he's after? And I thought, well, obviously it wasn't.
I was going to let you just say an answer out loud. I will say, I had no idea. I don't have what keys these songs are written in. I assume.
No. I was just wondering that these are famous songs written in a certain musical key, and I'm thinking a lot of these songs aren't really that well known, except.
Exactly. I'm always impressed people can know classical music. Like if it was like famous B flat compositions or famous things in D, I'm very impressed with people kind of know that information on the top of their head. And I was like, this is a much more sillier question than that. And these are all songs in the key of life.
Given the tone of what's gone before with the mathematical, scientific knowledge, I wasn't sure quite what vein you were going.
Full marks on that. I wasn't gonna penalize you on on that. Very, very well done. This is life was the answer, and not
Second attempt.
your first guess. A very good guess, and but no, life is the answer.
That's a good question. I like that one. Yeah.
And then our last EU question was, what is the only Semitic language to be recognized as on the official languages of the European Union?
I immediately leapt to one language. I'm now trying to figure out if it is a Semitic language. There's been some controversy about this nation actually being in, and I'm still trying to figure out if they're in. And now I'm going off on a different tangent. And now I'm second guessing myself as to what a Semitic language is, which as a linguist is really kind of troubling. So, your typical Semitic languages are Arabic and Hebrew, I think, something like that, Aramaic, but we're going back a bit there. Greek, is that considered a Semitic language? I don't think Turkish is permitted. Or Cyprus is now in. I have toured the European Union buildings in Strasbourg. I lived near there for about 6 months.
They have all the names and everything. So.
Yeah, and that was back in the mists of time that we like to call the early 90s. I was a college student and I've slept since then.
Sure.
Let's go with Greek.
So you're definitely thinking the right way. Greek is not a Semitic language.
No.
You pointed out correctly, but you did write Arabic, Hebrew. These are all the most classic of the classic examples of it. Aramaic is also a Semitic language and everything. Turkish is not.
Kind of
and it does
romantic.
Exactly. Yeah. So you're definitely in the right neck of the woods in terms of geography. It's
I don't. I mean, obviously, that you've got the obvious languages, with the exception now of English, because they're kind of drawing that out. I don't know.
So it is not Turkish, but this is a language of a country in the Mediterranean.
Would that? Well, there aren't too many of those. Would that be Maltese?
Maltese is a Semitic language. It is the only Semitic language in the EU.
I wouldn't. How does that? Is that considered Semitic? That's
from everything I have read, Maltese is a Semitic language.
Okay. No, I'm not saying it isn't, but
I'm no linguist, but this seems but it seems to be. However, it all breaks down. Maltese is a Semitic language, and so it is.
Wow. Yeah, that's a. Yeah. Wow.
There you go. And like you say, the way they have a nice map of which languages families are in there, and like there's a nice point of Maltese is in that family there, and because everything
I mean it's written in kind of regular scripts like in our.
And a Maltese follow up for you is, what is the Maltese word for father of chickens?
I don't know.
This is the surname of a person that's been certainly in the news in the last year.
There's been quite a few people in the news in the last year.
Oh yeah, it does not narrow it down. There's a lot of news all the time, but
I have father of chicken. No.
it's like that's what the name translates to. This person's father had Maltese citizenship. This is Buttigieg. Buttigieg is
Makes sense. Okay. Yeah.
he has Maltese like a Maltese like connection and everything.
Yeah,
And
I was trying to figure out the etymology of his name, and
it is
I never really had the time to do it. So
I mean, apparently it's like a very common last name, like there in Malta is Buttigieg.
okay,
Yeah, there you go.
you say so.
No, exactly. I don't know too many Maltese people, but
My dad goes to Malta like twice
what
a
I've
year.
heard, Buttigieg is a last name there, like Rosa or Mueller, things like that.
Yeah.
But no. So on your set of 5 there, you will get 1.5 there. So that is
Yeah,
all.
I'll take that because those were some tricky questions.
Exactly. And as I said at the beginning, I like to think round 3 is almost like shooting half-court shots. If any of them win, that's like a reason to
We'll
celebrate.
take it. Yeah, absolutely.
I just take where you can get them. So, all right.
All right. Are you ready for yours? Because
Let's do it.
I think I'm kind of fallen in the right ballpark. I hope. In fact, when I was writing these questions, you gave me instructions on how to do it. I think that's sort of moderate hard. And round 3, I just called because I'm English bloody difficult.
That's good. That's what I hear.
So question 1, with an estimated population of approximately 166 million, what is the largest country in terms of population to have never had one of its athletes win an Olympic medal? Question 2, we'll throw out our poetry question here. Appointed by Charles II in 1668, and perhaps best known for his 1667 poem Annus Mirabilis, who was the first poet laureate in Britain? Question 3, with its name derived from the Greek meaning solid bile, what substance in the human body has the molecular formula C27H46O? Question 4, what is the family name of the ruling dynasty of Monaco? And question 5, located at the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas, the Generalized Spacecraft Trajectory Design and Optimization System that is capable of solving a wide range of trajectory problems is named for what European polymath?
All right. So if you're thinking of those 5 fun ones, go ahead and think about it. Pause it here, and we will start back from the top. All right. So if you will read out number 1.
All right. Question 1. With an estimated population of around 166 million people, what is the largest country in terms of population to have never had an athlete win an Olympic medal?
What a solid, fair question. 166 million is a lot.
Yep.
This is a top 10 population country. Like there's zero doubt about it. India is not 166 million, needs to win more medals. I don't know why they don't spend more time working at the Olympics, because they have 1 billion people and 2 gold medals. And that just seems like, what are you guys doing? Like, come on.
Were they both in field hockey?
It's just weird. It's just like, guys, how are you letting like small countries like France beating you? Like y'all have 1 billion people. There's no reason y'all can't win more medals. 166. So
That's 2019 estimate, by the way, on the population.
Sure, yes. And presumably they haven't won a medal since you wrote the question as well. I'm sure they no Olympics anytime.
Yeah, and they won't be winning one this year either.
That's right. So trying to I have a couple of ideas that I want to think.
Okay.
I don't think the answer is going to be European. Like all the big countries in Europe have won some Olympics. There
aren't many countries in Europe that have a population that high.
There's also that. I mean, basically, there's like Germany, maybe France. I'm not sure where France and like Italy and Spain, but like
Way below.
yeah, Germany famously has won some Olympics. The two names I have written down that both look really good. I have Indonesia and I have Kazakhstan. I know both of those are top 10 countries. And neither of them strike me as Olympic winners. I mean, I bet, and it's possible neither of them I have, and one of them has more people than the other, and maybe they're both, only one of them's right. But I think of these two, Indonesia, I mean, like, America is 330 million or so, and it's about half of that. And Indonesia's got a ton of people. They're basically like fifth or sixth or somewhere in that range. And I think, I mean, I'm trying to think, well, there's also the most populous African country is Nigeria. Man, that's also a
I hate to add on to your list of possibilities.
now that makes the list of possible ideas.
I really like this question. I think
it's a perfect, very, very fair question. And so I really like one of these three answers being right. I don't think Nigeria is the most. Man, I don't feel comfortable saying a different African country. I like Nigeria or bust on that. And then nothing South America, like Brazil, Argentina, I'm sure they've won. Everything in the everything North America has won. Probably everything in Europe. So I'm looking at these three. I just don't. Nigeria, I feel like probably is one. But who knows? Like, there's been a ton of Olympics and they have a ton of different kind of events. Of these three, I like Indonesia feels right. That feels like about the number of people. I'm not great at populations because they change all the time. I like to joke. There's many facts you can learn about geography. Population is one that continuously updates every moment. But Indonesia feels like that could be that number of people. It's about the fifth largest country. And that could be it. I'm gonna guess Indonesia is my answer for this question.
That's a very good guess. Unfortunately, it is incorrect. Indonesia, there are stellar at badminton.
Oh man, that's
yeah. They and the Malaysians tend to run that.
I didn't realize that. That's
yeah. I grew up in a big badminton watching household. Both my parents used to play.
Sure.
Time watching shuttlecocks go back and forth.
Right.
But you are in the right continent.
It is Asia.
It is Asia.
Sure. Is it Kazakhstan or is it a different country?
It's not Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
I don't think their population comes anywhere close to 166 million.
I know. I think they're a top. I think they're a top. Well, maybe not. I think they're maybe the most populous.
I mean, they're obvious. They're certainly. No, I'm not even sure they're larger than, say, France or Germany.
What?
But anyway, by the by.
Is it Pakistan?
No. Oh. Pakistan has won in field hockey as well as they haven't won many, but they have won a couple of medals.
No, I mean that's the thing is like if it's a country that's like won, like tons and tons, you usually see them on like list of the medal.
Yeah. This is a country that I don't think has even sent many athletes to the Olympics.
Right. What? Saudi Arabia? No, I think I like that. I think they've won something. Maybe not. Yeah. Like they had their first one recently, I think. Like they had the
weren't too terribly far away. I'm going to give you clues here with Pakistan.
Yeah. So
This is a former British colony.
Is it the east of Pakistan? Is it Bangladesh?
It really used to be the east of Pakistan. Yes, it is Bangladesh.
Bangladesh. Oh man, what a solid.
Never, like 3 athletes within relatively recent memory, and they've never come close to winning.
Man,
which goes the Olympics. It's not the winning; it's the taking part.
No, exactly, yeah. And I mean, part of it. I mean, I joke about, I mean, part of the socioeconomic reasons for.
Oh, absolutely. They've had a few other things to focus on rather.
Exactly. I think about India too was like they also have what they're good at, and they're much more keen to spend money and time on what they're good at than learning, running and
I mean, even from a sporting perspective, cricket is just immense over there and just dwarfs everything. Yeah. Right.
Like the same like football and basketball dominate, the average American person. Like the way if you're growing up, you're probably gonna be involved in those sports. Like cricket is definitely like what you did. You just be a cricket player. Like you learn at gym class, like there you go. Bangladesh. What a very, very solid question that certainly is that. And yeah, I wouldn't have I should have thought about them. I mean, they would have been on the list. I still like Indonesia, but as good as
about the 6th or 7th largest country in terms of population in the world.
They're all up
right up.
Yeah, but no.
Yeah. It drops off once obviously you've got it. China, India, US is 3rd. Indonesia, I think, is 4th. And that was a very solid guess too. And I think Bangladesh sort of drops off down there, and you've got a bunch in that 150, 160 million.
No, excellent question. That's fantastic.
Right. Well, question 2. Let's round out your poetry questions. Appointed by Charles II in 1668, perhaps best known for his 1667 poem Annus Mirabilis. Who was the first poet laureate in Britain?
I believe the first poet laureate is John Dryden.
And you would be very correct.
Yep. That is excellent.
Not a name that really leaps to mind. He was more known for his plays, but
exactly, yeah. But I think I knew that he was the first one, and that's excellent. Woo! There you go. English poetry coming through. That is
well done.
Thank you.
Not a name that really sort of leaps to mind, but I like to do first, and I thought I'd give you a fighting chance with that one. So.
No, yeah, that is all good. I am excited that I was able to, have these names. That is excellent, and that is because the other one up down the list. I'm not 100% sure on everyone else. So here we go, going on to 3, which I'm still mulling on.
With its name derived from the Greek meaning solid bile, what substance in the human body has the molecular formula C27H46O?
Solid bile. Be good to know what any of these words mean, like what Greek for solid is. I don't know that. It's a substance. Man, there's tons of substances. That's the problem. I'm trying to think what the substances are. The 2 areas of the body that make substances that I feel good, they come from the brain and they come from the pancreas liver neck of the woods. That's where liquids get made.
That's where they generally bubble and bubble. Yeah.
Comes out, yeah. Bile. Man, like I'm sure it's something like ancient Greeks dealt with bile and they knew about bile and everything. Is it? I don't know. I mean, it's good to know that's a compound. That doesn't really help me. I think it just lets me know it's a substance with it's a real thing. It's not a fictional thing. Whatever. Like that's its formula. It's a very good way to narrow it down, no matter what. I'm the answer I've put together, melatonin.
That's a very interesting way of approaching it. What was your thought process there?
What was it like? There's something about mela, that prefix, it's something to do with bile I liked. I don't know why, but something about, I think in my, like, I thought mela, I was trying to get the substances and with mela, like something about like Melanesia. I mean, that's like, maybe that's what black, maybe mela is black. And I like, I was trying to put like words for bile. I feel like I may have heard because
Mhm.
solid's not coming up with anything. And I was thinking, well, I had mela, and there's melanin and melatonin, and I didn't really have any solid guesses between those two, and so I just plopped for melatonin as one.
It's completely wrong, by the way.
Sure,
So,
no, no, I don't
yeah,
mind.
I was just wondering what your thought process was.
No, that
Uh,
was about the prefix mela, and I went with that. But that is
this one, I think we all need to study up on our Greek a little bit more. I think everybody sort of knows the Latin stems and things like that. But the Greeks, and they knew a fair bit too. The first part of this, you're right that this is formed in either the brain or the pancreas, liver.
it's where they get made.
Quote you. Yeah, I think you went more with the brain side. This is the other side. If you look at the root for this, it comes from the bile part, meaning the angry humors.
Right, I knew I had humors. Like I knew that's a word they use, but I didn't really have it.
So in Greek, for bile, anger, annoyance, or frustration type anger would be choler.
Okay, so it's I'm not sure I have the other part. Then I'm still struggling with this.
That will be the easier part to guess. The other part is the Greek for solid. So it's basically bile, solid, solid anger, and I get tested for it regularly. The
Cholesterol. Oh man, that's
solid, literally
solid.
translated.
That's cholesterol. Is that yeah? That is man.
That is its molecular formula. Yeah.
That's extremely good. That's an extremely fair and good question. There you go. Yeah, I think that's not knowing Greek will get you there. Maybe if I
It's a science. If I'm going to write a science question, I'm going to throw in a linguistic twist to it as well.
I'm a big believer of a link that always narrows it down, and no matter what, it makes the question indisputable for sure. Like
there you go. There you go.
Yeah, that makes it there. Solid bile, man. Cholesterol. That's fair and good, man.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm getting mine lower. So question 4, I obviously being British, I like my royal family and monarchy and things like that. So Monaco is one of the countries within Europe that still has a very prominent monarchy. What is the family name of the ruling dynasty in Monaco?
We had T.S. Eliot was our expatriate in round 2. And round 3, we'll have the American expatriate, Grace Kelly, who joined this group back in the day. And I believe the ruling family of Monaco is the Grimaldi family.
It sounds like they should be circus clowns.
Like that, yeah. It's like
Yeah,
almost
Grimaldi
or so, or something, or the chocolate. Garibaldi. Yeah, no.
Garibaldi, like a biscuit.
Yeah. What's the name of the San Francisco chocolate company? I'm forgetting.
Oh,
Why am I?
Ghirardelli.
Yes, God, I was there. I was just there last year, and I was like, we hung out in front of the building in big letters. I was like, why am I forgetting? My brother took a nap in the little grass right in front of the factory there in San Francisco. He was pooped out.
Yeah, Grimaldi is the name of the ruling family of Monaco. Yeah. Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
And final question. Located at Johnson Space Center in Houston, The Generalized Spacecraft Trajectory Design and Optimization System that is capable of solving a wide range of trajectory problems is named for what European polymath?
Oh, what a fair, good question for.
It's just fall under bloody difficult.
Yeah, no, and I was trying to listen to the. Okay. So, does the name of the thing have like an acronym to it, or was it just the other name for it?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, I just wanted to. I was trying to listen to it, make sure if there was like any fun letter thing.
Fun letters. No, I think they just called it what it is. It's a
Right.
government name.
Right. No. Yeah.
Like, sometimes they come up with like fun, friendly acronyms, but not in this instance that I'm aware.
Sure.
Yep.
So, trajectory. So, trying to think the main. So it's going to be one of the famous science people, and some did other things, but certainly. So I was trying to think. I mean, like Newton. I don't like Newton. I know Newton had the famous shooting the trajectory problem of shooting a cannonball that's always falling, but is rotating around. The example of how rotation works, which is part trajectory, and then the other polymath. So I'm trying to think of in terms of rockets. The father of rocketry is Robert Goddard. I'm pretty sure Robert Goddard was American.
Mm-hmm.
There's former German von Braun, who went from Germany to America, which I don't unlike that. Don't associate him as a polymath. He certainly was smart, but I don't associate him with all the endeavors of the world, I think Fermi was known for estimating things. Like I think he was good at math. He was good at solving problems. Like that was a thing he was like he could like I think he's notably like you could ask him how many ping pong balls could fit in a gymnasium and he could get really close.
Work it out.
They would do it in his mind. Like, and I think it's like Fermi problems are called that because it's based off. These are just people that are polymaths. It was going to be. I want to answer better than Newton because that seems straightforward enough. That seems like what you would call something. I want something like a Copernicus machine or something, like something like some with a fancier science guy. European polymath. Man, I'm trying to think for trajectory, a computer solving machine that can figure out trajectories. I don't. How? Okay, I don't love this. Man, now I'm going with more math people too. And I have 3 guesses for math. I actually like science people less and math people more. And 3 names I now have are 4. I have 4 now. Euclid, Gauss, Euler, and Descartes. Those are 4 polymath people that did all kinds of things. And I don't want you to say anything. I am going to guess on solving things. I'm going to go Descartes. That makes sense with trajectories. He was a polymath. He did philosophy along with science and math. And I'm going to go Rene Descartes as my guess here.
Descartes, you think, therefore you are?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, he was European, and I think he could be a polymath. But this machine is not named after Mr. Descartes.
I did not name any non-European. These were all, in fact, Europeans that I was thinking.
Yeah.
I don't want to flub on picking a Japanese person and be like, oh my God, you maybe European. But no, I I bought Euclid. I still like Euclid as an answer, which is
Yeah, I mean, definitely the father of geometry. It would make sense with trajectory, but once again, incorrect.
no. Man, Gauss and Euler feel good. Are either Gauss or Euler right? No. So I didn't. So I'm trying to think. Who else? I mean, there's tons of folks. Is it Isaac Newton?
No, no, that would have been really perverse and sick.
Good. That'd be terrible. It'd be like overruled immediately, and then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's right. It was that the entire time.
About that time period, I'll say that, 17th century.
Of Newton. So who do we have? So how about Blaise Pascal?
I believe you mentioned this man's name kind of in passing
Oh,
while you were dating.
who did I say? I think I said a lot of folks.
You over it and said it must be one of these.
Oh, for scientists. Who else did I have? Oh, I think Copernicus randomly. Is it Copernicus?
Copernicus.
Oh my God! I just said that as that'd be a great answer. I didn't have any reason. I mean, he's a space person, obviously, but I didn't have any.
He was one of the first to realize, how things move in space and their trajectories and everything like that. And it wasn't that, he got into trouble with the Catholic Church for his belief. And but it's called the Copernicus spacecraft trajectory design and optimization system out in Houston, Texas.
That is great. That is no. I mean, yeah. I mean, I said Copernicus. I wanted to name another space person, but I didn't have any reason for him. I like.
Yeah.
He certainly is a guy who did very important things, but I didn't have an answer for that. So.
Yeah.
But no, that is very, very excellent questions there. I got 2 on that set, and I will gladly take my 2 there.
I think they're hard-earned 2.
Very, very well done. Anyone that if you got at least 1 on that set, you did very well.
They were both sets of very tough questions.
So, our last question tonight is one that both of us here is Jeremy Horowitz, who played episode 1, wrote the question, and it is for both of us. And so we will just play it here. I will just read it aloud for both of us. He sent it to me in an email. I have not read the question yet. So here we go. I will read it aloud. So the question is, the English language UN short form names of what 2 countries each have 3 alphabetical consecutive letters that appear one after the other? So for example, if XYZ stan and the United States of PQR were actual UN short form country names, there would be two good examples.
Okay, so 3 consecutive letters in the alphabets.
Right.
That of the UN short form of nations.
Correct.
Countries.
So let's take a little bit of time to think about that. And that's a very excellent. That I am shocked that there's one. I got one.
Okay.
And then what a solid.
That is a really good question.
That is that's close.
Oh.
I got one, and I know I got one, and I'm trying to get the other. I'm trying to. This is definitely a question when you know you have a right answer, you know you have a right answer. There's no like, oh, does this have 3 consecutive letters in it? You just know what spelling looks like, so you know you have it. And God, man. I deal with a lot of geography wordplay in my line of work, and I'm disappointed that I haven't just discovered this on my own.
Yeah.
Uh,
I started by looking at the alphabet just written down and going in blocks of 3 letters consecutive.
yeah.
And I stumbled on one that way.
Well, I have one. And,
Okay. I wonder if the one you have is the same one I have.
Well, if you have different ones, we both get half a point. That's for sure.
There we go.
So, what is your one?
Tuvalu.
That is the one I have. So, which begins TUV.
TUV. Yeah.
So I have
the much sought after internet domain name TV.
Exactly. And so I have a short list of other good 3 letters. Like I think CDE is very good. DEF is very good. RST is ultra good. STU is very good. But I haven't.
RST could be something. Republic of something.
Just trying to think what.
RST, Republic of South Africa, but I mean obviously that doesn't quite fit.
And but no, I've
No, I'm. Give me just a second. It seems like NOP should be something too. But.
Exactly. And these are the letters that it could be. And I'm just I don't know. There's only so many ways letters can work, and I'm just trying to. Yeah, I'll give him about another 30 seconds or so, and then I'll go over. He sent me the answer as well, and then we'll.
Well, good. I'm glad because we're going
to be. If you gave me Wikipedia, I can find the answer within a minute. I can do Control F and find the answer I need exactly.
Yeah. No, I'm going to admit defeat on this one. I think.
All right, Jeremy got us. What is the answer? Oh, that's good. That is disappointing. It was not a 3-letter combination I had. The 3-letter combination here is FGH.
I kept going back to that, and I can't think what it might be.
You put FGH and put an A out front, you get AFGH, and it is in fact Afghanistan. If man, that seems thing to get. I'm disappointed. That is Afghanistan, the first country alphabetically. So
alphabetically, yeah.
If you gave me the Wikipedia list of countries, I would have gotten it within a minute because it would have been I'd have gone.
It's a question why it's not AFG, but
just right there. There's the first one there, and so we will both receive 1/2 on that.
From that.
There we go. So our final point values today, it looks we both did very well. We asked each other some nonsense questions today. You ended your set of questions, or you scored 8 points on mine, and I scored 12 points on yours, and that is very, very excellent. And I hope you at home, hopefully you beat both of us and put us in our place, and hopefully.
Absolutely.
And if you did not, I hope you learned something new from us rambling about things we think we may or may not know. But that was
a lot of fun.
That was a very excellent set. Thank you, Andy, for coming on and playing the game.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
Absolutely. I'm going to be here in my quarantine for a while, and you very well, maybe if you ever get bored, let me know, and we can certainly. You have a nice archive of questions that are ready to be, time. But thank you so much, Andy. I hope all of you are at home taking care. Please stay safe, keep having fun, and we hope to see you again very soon. All right, thank you, everyone, and y'all take care. Bye, everyone.